sort of change we are seeing is with the world of AI. I think every job is showing up new career paths with AI embedded into the career path. For example, if you take a simple business analyst role, there is now a business analyst role with which is being advertised where knowledge of AI and AI tools is mandatory. So over time, even something as simple as a medical representative, a sales and marketing person, they will all be appended by people by roles which require knowledge of AI. So in some sense, the first set of careers that are emerging is where you do something that somebody in the past also did, but with knowledge, full knowledge, and harnessing the power of the generative AI and agentic AI tools that are now available to us. I think the first requirement there is to sort of keep an open mind, right? So, uh, in some sense, there are so many things happening simultaneously that for you to hit an opportunity that excites you, you cannot be closed minded. I think that's the first requirement, at least the way I parse things. The second requirement is that you know your fundamentals in whatever college, whatever degree program you are studying. Make an effort to understand the fundamentals completely and soundly. Anybody that understands the fundamentals is not going to go out of fashion, is not going to go out of business. They are going to be absolutely like critical to every business that will hire them in some sense. So the overall picture is sound knowledge of fundamentals will never go out of fashion. So I'll suggest that they should just focus on that. When I look at some of our students or other college students who are now going to get placed, they're all very focused on, the employers seem to be focused on whether this person can fit into an organization and contribute positively. Fit in means to be able to like grow in a team. So to have good people skills, good written and oral communication skills, and good ability to document and keep track of your own time and be professional. These are some very almost elementary attributes, but they seem to be valued by employers. That's the first set. The second set, I'll come back, knowledge of AI, knowledge of AI related tools is increasingly becoming absolutely indispensable. And we do need to figure out, or students do need to figure out how they can do their jobs, whatever their job is, now with AI added on as an additional tool. So, mentorships, internships are absolutely essential. I think there is no way around not doing an internship. I'll strongly recommend everybody, every student out there to seek out, even if it is an unpaid internship. Don't worry about unpaid or paid. Just go get yourself embedded in a real operating environment in a company and get yourself that experience. In fact, I tell many students, treat your first job like an unpaid internship where there is a lot of learning coming at you, but the pay is like a little bonus. So don't worry about the pay, the first pay. Just do that job and make sure you are learning as much as you can from that job. If there is no learning but a very heavy salary, that's not a good first job at all. So make sure learning in an internship is very important. Now, mentorship requires a slightly different frame of mind from the student. You have to first be the kind that listens, absorbs, and implements. I see a lot of our students take advice, but they don't act on it. So if the students that are have the mindset to listen, absorb, and implement will end up benefiting from mentorship. And placement, of course, these days is a little bit of a matter of chance, meaning you have to be in the right platform, the right place. Now, I want to tell one thing to all the students. Increasingly, between you and the company that is hiring you for in a placement process, there is an AI layer. So you have to pass that AI layer. So your resume, when you put it through, has to pass that AI layer. So please make sure that we do that the students are able to harness this AI layer and get the most out of it. So interdisciplinarity is something that I believe is very important. So the simplest kind of interdisciplinarity is if you were a civil engineer, you will almost have to learn how to do civil engineering with some of the AI tools that are available. That's the simplest form of interdisciplinarity that will become part of every engineer and every science student's life. The second form is where you have to learn to solve the big problems through working with teams that are talking different languages. For example, you put a mechanical engineer and an electrical engineer into one team to build a robot. Now, the overall the team language, when I say technical language, the mechanical engineer is trained in one language, the electrical engineer is trained in a different language. So, the first step to working in interdisciplinary teams is to understand each other's language, especially if you are working with a biologist, a life sciences person, their language is usually very different. So, understanding and making an effort to become conversant with the nomenclature and the language of lot of other disciplines. That's the first step. Second step is to understand their perspective. So, for example, if you want to build a robot for any use, it is both a mechanical and an electrical system, and you have to learn each other's language to really make the most of it. So, in some sense, that's the second part of interdisciplinarity. The last part is, I think, even during college, in your courses, if you are studying mechanical engineering, make an effort to take courses from outside your core discipline. Have at least one course in as a civil engineering person, one course for an electrical engineer. So I think something like that would really make a big difference. Of the three things you said, I will say forget to only focus on passion. If you just said, I want to be a lawyer, I really love being, serving the underprivileged, doing law. The other two, social impact and money, will come running after you. I have talked to some extremely successful engineers in many different companies. If you look at what their first salary was or what the impact they were making in the first few years of their career, it would be nothing. But they were constantly learning. And that learning later on converts to impact. It later on converts to financial security for themselves. So, financial security doesn't come with your first 10 paychecks, it comes with your last 10 paychecks. So, you have to focus on optimizing that last 10 paychecks. Automatically, everything else will fall in